gentlemen, welcome to the main event.
Let's get ready to rumble!
This one by Mattingly. Oh, hang on to the roof.
Montana looking, wrong in the end zone. 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes! Little roller up along first. Behind the man. It gets through Buster. Here comes Knight and the Mets win it.
Okay, something's not working. This is it. That's what's not working. All right, here we go. All right. Kinks on a Saturday. Lots of kinks. We tried to start the show early at 9:45, but whenever we try to start early, it never works out because I had Moss Skype issues. But today is episode 159, Sports and Sorts on Saturday morning, of course, where we have all the kinks, but we go live on YouTube every Monday and Saturday at 10 a.m.
We push through.
Yes,
we push through on a Saturday. Yeah, right. We just.
So if you like our videos, be sure to give them a thumbs up and click on that subscribe button. You can find us, on Facebook at facebook.com/Shane and the Bryman, Twitter at Shane and Bryman. You can also visit us at our website at www.sportsandsorts.libsyn.com. And lastly, if you comment during the show, we will get it up on the screen. Today, we got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about the NBA. The Warriors are hot. Harden's a scoring machine. Lake Show needs LeBron back. Stat. The MLB Hot Stove Padres and Dodgers are battling for Realmuto. And the Padres also, are they a mystery team for Manny? Plus, Mariano Rivera unanimously gets in the Hall of Fame. Plus Moose also gets in. That's also fantastic. Mike Mussina. And also we're going to talk a little bit of NFL with Lev Bell, possibly wanting to go to Miami, but one Fins fan says nay. We got so much to talk about, maybe even sprinkle in a Royal Rumble. So we got a great show. Let's go.
You are listening to Sports and Sorts with Shane and the Bryman.
All right. So let's I got all these things popping up on my screen now, of course, because it's Saturday.
Wow, it's nice to hear that again.
Yeah, it is. So today we will talk about the NBA. I don't know how much we need to get into the Lakers and how much they need LeBron. Like that's that much of a surprise, but I think that it's the disappointment of Ingram. All right. Calm down there. Calm down. All right. I think it's a disappointment of Ingram and company, which is a bit stinky for them. But LeBron should be back in probably about a week. And that fringe playoff team right now that the Lakers are will likely going back to the 5th or 6th seed. And maybe they might go higher than that. But the thing I really wanted to kind of quickly talk about with this team is there are a lot of rumors out there with trades and everything like that. Do you think that they will get anyone big at the deadline? For instance, an Anthony Davis or someone along those lines.
That would be big.
He happens to be hurt too right now, but I mean, he should be back very soon, like within a week.
What is the Anthony Davis is like one of the top 5 players in the league. I mean, what's the haul for a guy like Anthony Davis? What are you getting in return? This goes beyond draft picks and even some of the guys they have on this team. Who are you gonna trade to get Anthony Davis? And also
everyone.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. And from a draft pick perspective, if you're the Lakers, you really don't have much to offer there because they're going to be like a middle of the road team. They're not a potential lottery pick.
Yeah.
Even if LeBron doesn't come back this year, that team's still not going to end up with a lottery pick. Most likely, they'll probably win just enough games. So
I think I think if he comes back, they're going to be a 5th or 6th seed. They're still getting in the playoffs.
If he comes back, yes. He's been out for a month now, which is and you can see what it's doing to the Lakers. I mean, they completely fell apart. I mean, at one point they were what, 5 or 6 games over 500 at one point. They were actually looking like a Yeah, like a 6 seed kind of team. Maybe a team that would probably get bounced in the first round, but at least a team that you looked at and you said, okay, the foundation is there with LeBron. When they get another piece in this offseason, which they almost certainly will, they will attract somebody there. Mm-hmm. Probably not Kevin Durant, because I think Kevin Durant's going to go to New York, to be honest. But they're going to attract some piece there.
It'd be very interesting to see if Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving go.
Yeah,
that would be interesting. But
I don't think so. Well, yeah, and we'll get into Kyrie Irving in a bit, because I'm not happy with Kyrie Irving right now. Mm-hmm. But yeah, as far as the Lakers go, I saw an interesting theory yesterday. Like, should they just sit LeBron for the rest of the year, don't bring him back, let the team tank, like really bad?
That's dumb.
That way you have a nice, easy excuse to get rid of Luke Walton, because apparently there was a story that came out only hours ago that said LeBron and his camp. I hate that crap so much. LeBron's camp. So what is LeBron's camp? Is that him and his entourage of nobodies, of hangers-on? Of guys that suck off his teeth? Who are the Who is LeBron's camp? Is that him and his agent? And does anybody really care what LeBron's camp wants? But apparently LeBron's camp wants Luke Walton out. That's going to happen.
I don't understand the head coaching situation with LeBron. Like, that always seems to be under fire.
Oh, but, I really kind of can't stand LeBron in that way. It seems to me
I don't think it's him. I think it's just people trying to get stuff talking, because the coach doesn't have anything to do with it.
But why does it come up every stop that this guy makes? The coach comes up.
Because I'm sorry, because I'm sure there's going to be whispers because they're not winning as much as they should be. Like, that's so.
And the only reason there were never any whispers about Spoelstra is because they got to the finals in his first year, and then they won, 2 out of the next 3 before he bailed.
Right.
So, and then Spoelstra is still in his job. But wherever LeBron lands, there is this coaching controversy that comes along with it. It's ridiculous. I kind of get it in Cleveland a little bit because, Tyronn Lue was he was he was probably really not qualified to be the coach. But
there was lots of issues with that. There was health issues. There was just so many issues.
But the point is, LeBron's power rears its ugly head when when things go wrong for a team that he is playing for, the coaching immediately comes into question.
Yeah, but I just don't see. I can't see him wanting to get him fired because he hasn't been there for weeks. What did he expect this team to do without him?
I don't know.
Like that. That's the thing. That team is a fringe to not play a playoff team without him. They proved that last year.
They are not a playoff team without him.
Right. But they are a fringe. Like, they're going to be probably a couple of games off the playoff race. But if they have him, they're a 5th. They could be as good as a 3rd seed. That's how good he is.
The West is because the West is relatively tight. There's not a lot of games separating 1 from 8, to be honest.
So that's the whole thing. With him, they are good. Without him, they are bad. That's exactly what the Cleveland Cavaliers. With him, they were good. Without him, they are bad. That's just what it is. All right, so there's not much there. I would like to see Anthony Davis go there. I know, I would prefer. Obviously, I would prefer a lot of other different options, but I could see them, dumping Lonzo Ball. I could see them dumping Ingram. I could see them dumping draft picks. I could see them dumping a lot to get Anthony Davis.
I could see. A core foundation, of course, of LeBron and Anthony Davis for the next, call it 3 years, is scintillating, and then eventually it would become Anthony Davis's team, which I'm sure the Lakers would be completely fine with.
Yeah, because he's only 25.
Yeah. So, that would be great, and chances are, with those two together, assuming LeBron can just continue to be LeBron for however long as he can, that team will win a championship or 2 with him. Because eventually this Golden State thing is going to end. Yeah. Not this year. I think they win the finals again this year. But next year, it should come to an end when Durant walks out the door, and Durant is walking out that door. So,
all right.
I think that's just a matter of time.
Okay, well, let's get on to the next little topic here for the NBA. It's the Houston Rockets, where James Harden.
Oh yes, he really is. It's like he's playing NBA Jam right now.
Yes, he's averaging. He's only averaging 36 points per game this year. The thing that
22 straight games of 30 plus points.
Right. And I have...
Unreal.
I am going to say an unpopular thing here. Because I just feel this guy, as great of a scorer he is just too lazy and he's way too inefficient to actually take this team far in the playoffs. He turns the ball over about 6 times a game. And
he actually played defense last night in a pretty big moment. He prevented Kawhi from hitting a potential game-winning 3. He got in his face and he altered the shot. And and the shot didn't even catch rim. Right.
And you have to do that all game, though. You can't just do it once a game. And he shoots far more than anyone else in the league. It's absolutely ridiculous. And his 50-plus point streak that he had, and he's scoring 61 points against the horrible Knicks, I actually thought that was more embarrassing than anything else. I mean, the dude went 5 for 20 from three-point land in his 61-point performance.
The Beard picks his spots defensively. Let's put it that. If you want to be nice about it, he picks his spots.
He's that kid that we all grew up with who plays, who lets the guy go by and tries to swipe the ball from the back, and he always reaches in and tries to do something slick.
And maybe 1 out of 20 he gets it.
Yeah.
You're like,
he got a steal, but he's turned the ball over 6 times. So now I know he kind of has to do it right now. I understand, but the isolation that they do, and they just run all of his teammates to the other side of the court, and they just let him play one-on-one. It's just embarrassing. I cringe while watching it. This guy is such a talented scorer, but people like that just focus just completely on them and play like a one-on-one game, they don't win championships. They never win championships. No. And he is far too inefficient. He needs CP3 back, and hopefully that happens tonight because Harden also needs Capella back. But if he gets CP3 back, that'll get some of the pressure off of him, but he can still score. And then Capella coming back, and it's not coming out anytime soon. That's like another month and a half. But he also needs one more guy that can play some defense and finish the basketball. Because as of now, they're going to be lucky to get deep in the playoffs. They're going to make the playoffs. Right now they're around the 5th seed, but they are going to be lucky to go past past their first round in the playoffs. That's how poorly they are playing as a team. They are just letting it one-on-one and just letting him score. That will not happen in the playoffs. You are not going to drop 61 like that. You go 5 for 20 from three-point land, you're losing that game. I'm sorry. Even if you score 60 points, you're losing that game. So that's my feeling about the Rockets and Houston and James Harden. I just really... he's such a talented scorer. I just wish he would be... And, this is a guy who averages, between 8 and 11 assists a game over the last several years. And I just think that he is just too selfish, and he just doesn't... He turns the ball over way too many times. And if you compare him to, Steph Curry, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. Steph Curry turns the ball over less than 3 times a game. Still scores 30 points a game. And his 3-point percentage, Steph Curry's 3-point percentage, I think, is higher than James Harden's field goal percentage this year. That shines a light on this. It is just, it's rough. It's rough to watch.
You know what's funny too is, they are, as of right now, they are the 5 seed, 6 games back of the now surging Golden State Warriors, who are just in the blink of an eye are back to a 20-game over 500 team and are clearly kind of steamrolling again towards the finals. I honestly, when I look at the rest of the West, Denver, Oklahoma City, Portland, Houston, Utah, San Antonio, Clippers.
Utah's got a tough team. They could sneak some wins out. Definitely.
They could. I could actually see Utah in a conference finals. If you're asking me, do I think any of these teams could legitimately prevent Golden State from going back? No. And then when you look at the East, I'm even less convinced. Milwaukee and Toronto and the Pacers are your top seeds. That I'm just not convinced any of those
Toronto's
teams.
kind of a scary team. They can be good.
Well, because of Kawhi, and a healthy Kawhi is obviously showing you what he's worth this year. But very quickly, getting back to Houston, let's assume they make the playoffs, because they're going to make the playoffs. They're the 5 seed now. They're 8 games over 500.
I guess they'll probably move up to the 4th seed, maybe the 3rd when CP3 comes back. And then as Capella gets healthier, and if they eventually make a trade or something at the deadline, that'd be good.
and the only what I was going to ask is, with LeBron being out for a month, I would say he's probably out of the MVP race. Is it likely that Harden, doing what he's doing, is going to win back-to-back MVPs?
He could possibly. I think Steph Curry probably deserves it.
He might.
Him but as of right now, I think that Harden's like the runaway favorite with everyone that's watching. It's kind of like what Russell Westbrook did. Like he did back-to-back years where he basically averages triple-double. The second time it wasn't as good because his stats didn't really improve. But right now, Harden went from like a 30-point scorer to a 36-point scorer.
But that is
a big deal.
He is carrying this team.
Oh yeah.
I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah,
I know he does not play defense to save his life.
He is great in the regular season.
Yeah. Yeah. He is. He's a great regular season player.
And that's unfortunate for him. That's not a label that you necessarily
not
want.
The legacy you want,
no.
yeah.
But we know a lot of those players. Like Barry Bonds was a great regular season player for a long period of time throughout his career.
He was a great postseason player for 1 year, except they just kept walking him.
Yes, and then he hit he hit some big bombs too. I mean,
he did.
Yeah, he was
that year when they almost won the World Series, when they lost to the Angels. Yeah. He had a great postseason. He probably would have been World Series. He would have been World Series MVP.
I'm surprised. That was one of those that I think at the time I said he should have been the MVP no matter what. That's how good he. That's how much of an impact he had on the overall World Series.
He was a runaway MVP, and there was talk about him actually. I remember winning the MVP in that World Series, even if they had lost. But
all right. So we have one other topic that we wanted to get into, and I mentioned this guy's name a little while ago.
Yeah.
But so the Bryman, we use this thing, AnyList, where you can post, you can have like little lists that are kind of connected to between people on your phone, and it's an app, and you can connect people through email and all that kind of stuff, and it's a great app. So if you have families, all that kind of stuff, it's really useful for like grocery lists, all that kind of stuff. You can add, you can delete stuff. It's just great. So the other thing that's good is that he posts things on there that don't give me any idea what he's talking about. And this is one of the things. The Bryan Man is a little bit miffed at Kyrie Irving. What's going on here? What's going on with
so
Kyrie?
Pissed at Kyrie Irving. I think as you recall, a couple of years ago when Kyrie decided he didn't want to be Robin to Batman anymore.
Oh, yeah.
And he, up and got out of Cleveland and got himself traded to Boston. And I loved that he did that. I loved that he didn't want to bend the knee and kiss the ring of LeBron James. I loved that he wanted to be his own man, to make his own mark in the NBA, to be the alpha male and not just have to be second fiddle to LeBron James. I really, the thing that, I think one of the things that's very easily forgotten in 2016 is that Kyrie Irving, there is no way that LeBron James wins that 2016 title without Kyrie Irving. No way. Kyrie Irving hit the biggest shot of that series in Game 7, a 25-foot three-pointer to give the Cavs a lead. LeBron iced it with like a couple of free throws, but Kyrie Irving was the guy who hit the shot that gave Cleveland a championship. Never forget that, Cleveland. It was Kyrie Irving that, yes, LeBron, of course, he wrote his note, he made his promise, he came back home, he delivered a championship, but that championship is not signed, sealed, or delivered without Kyrie Irving. So Kyrie Irving has his big moment, his moment where you could say Robin even kind of equaled himself or even things with Batman, and he said, I'm getting out of town, I'm going to be Nightwing. I'm going to make my own,
have my own legacy, right?
Man.
Okay.
I'm going to be my own man. And then, just a couple of weeks ago, LeBron and his camp, his entourage, his followers, his leechers, his hangers-on, they're all out at some restaurant, and Kyrie calls LeBron out of the blue to apologize for the way... Let the record show that that's not my cat. To apologize.
My cat's mad. She doesn't have food right now, so she's gonna keep making appearances for sure.
Cool. He calls LeBron like out of the blue to apologize for the way he acted and for demanding a trade and wanting to get out of Cleveland and get away from him, and he's oh, I didn't realize what you went through. I hadn't walked a mile in your shoes until I had to go to Boston and then lead a team on my own. Mm-hmm. Well, what the hell did you think it was going to be like, Kyrie? What were you going to, you wanted to be this leader, and then you became a leader, and what, you don't want it? And now you want to go crawling back to LeBron? Because now I think the two of these guys, because, there's no loyalty in the NBA. You're always looking for your next team to be on or your next super team to form.
I think that's in most professional sports.
Ooh, it's rampant in the NBA.
It's not like that in the hockey. I will say that.
Yeah,
it's
no,
not like
hockey. No. Come on, nobody talks about forming super teams in hockey. Yeah. That is really, you don't hear much about that in the NFL. I mean, the NFL guys really, really follow the money in the NFL because it's a violent sport, and the money is only guaranteed for X amount of dollars. And guys are not nearly as loyal to their buddies in creating, potential super teams. Not to mention the fact that a lot of owners and general managers like to stay away from that.
It's tougher too
because there's a lot of egos involved.
Well, there's 22 starters that so it's tougher to have to form a super.
Right, and that's where.
But they do. I mean, you have the Goffs,
NBA,
the Gurleys, they figure out ways to create super teams. Like before, it was Mahomes, Hunt, Hill, Kelsey.
But NFL teams don't ever identify themselves as super teams. That's an NBA. That is an NBA. Right. That's an NBA phrase.
But all teams have been. I mean, the Yankees have been doing that for years. Red Sox have been doing that for years. Everybody's been doing that. It's just it's easier to call it that because it's your 60% of your team when you get three great players.
Exactly, that's the point. There's 5 starters, so it's an NBA. That's an NBA term. That is an NBA thing. Yes, I mean, in baseball you want to sign as many guys to fill positions as possible and have them be, in the top 5 to 10 in that position, of course, but I don't think it's a semantic that is really particular to the NBA. Let's just say that. But I had a lot of respect for Kyrie when he left. I don't love that he kind of forced himself out. That was a little bit babyish, but then again, there was never going to be a clean way to do that, really, unless he had reached free agency and he was not there. So, he had to force Cleveland's hand. Mm-hmm. But I liked what he did. I liked the idea of him wanting to not kiss LeBron's rear and bend the knee and kiss his ring and wanting to be his own man. And now he's, completely undone that. I guess, so LeBron's sitting there with his entourage. The phone rings and it's Kyrie, and LeBron's picks up the phone. He didn't answer the phone because he was at a dinner.
Right.
But I guess he turned to some of the other guys he was with and he was like, what this is about? And then sure enough, he called him back. They had this lovely little heart-to-heart where, Kyrie apologized to LeBron.
Over some wine.
I've now walked a mile in your shoes and I understand.
Did a little Netflix and chill.
Okay, yeah, they did, really. I mean, Netflix and chill. Maybe it was like a FaceTime and chill. And I'm just so disgusted by Kyrie Irving because I liked the Kyrie Irving that wanted to be Nightwing, not the Kyrie Irving that became Nightwing and then just said, shoot, I think I need to go be Robin again.
Oh, man.
That drives me bonkers. It really does. Come on. Kyrie had my respect and he lost it.
For censoring yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Getting a little bit of hand clap because you said shoot.
Yeah. But I don't know. I don't know how you feel about this. I liked what Kyrie did, and I just hate that he seems to be, because now I am telling you right now, I think there's a legit chance that these two guys play together again.
See, with me, I am fine with it because he's being true to himself. So he thought he could do it. He thought it was going to be easier than he thought it was going to be. It's not. It's really difficult. And that's it. That's just how so now he realizes that and realizes, you know what? I don't want that kind of pressure. I don't want to be that guy because
I need you, LeBron.
He is more of a guy that likes to be kind of under the radar. He doesn't like to have all these interviews and everything. He doesn't like that. He never has. And now he's got that, and now he has to deal with that on an every night basis. And no matter if he's involved in the game or not, they are looking to him to field these questions. And before, it was, we got to talk to Kyrie just so that we can get to LeBron. We're going to get him out of the way and then talk to LeBron. Or we're going to talk to LeBron and now we'll just ask Kyrie 2 or 3 questions. We'll see you later. But all the headlines are going to be around LeBron. So I think that it takes a special player to deal with that. Obviously, Kevin Durant has even proven from time to time that he has a difficult time with it. And he's in Golden State where they have multiple superstars. And he has a hard time with it. So I think it takes a special talent to be able to do that. Like Derek Jeter was phenomenal at it. You have Michael Jordan was phenomenal at it. You know, like there are certain players that can handle that load very well. And I think that Kyrie's just not one of those guys. He's a controversial guy. Obviously, you know, he's had other things that he's put out in the media that have gotten roasted. And I just think that some people have thinner skin. And that's who he is, and it's fine. You know, it is tough. It's tough to lead a team. I can't even imagine the pressure that is involved when there's hundreds of millions of dollars on the table, and you are focused on as the key cog to that. I can't even imagine. That is incredible. I mean, only you know, because in this show you carry this show. This is worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and you have that pressure, and that's why I call you up. Brian, come on, please let me come back on the show. I know, please, Brian.
It's called Shane and the Brian Man, not Brian Man and Shane.
That's because the Brian Man and Shane just sounds stupid.
You're the host. I would. But I'm not. But I'm also not sitting here begging off, saying I need to do my own show. I need to break free of you, and then come crawling back, realizing like, oh my god, I can't do this.
As a former business owner, that happens. And it's funny when it happens. Anyway, let's move on from there.
You see, what had happened was...
Let's get on to some MLB. We're going to be talking about plenty of NFL this weekend. You know, maybe even the weekend after. There's a lot of NFL to come. But we have some time to talk about some other sports. And then we're going to be able to really get into some other sports. We will be talking about Mariano in just a minute. I want to say this again because I should have a clip for this. There is still no signing of Manny Machado or Bryce Harper yet. I really just need to get a button that I can just push and just say, Manny Machado and Bryce Harper have still not signed a contract.
I have to tell you, it's unbelievable to me. It's unbelievable that these two guys at their age hit free agency at the same time, and they are still unemployed. And I honestly think it's because, and honestly, I don't know that either of them is close to signing right now. I really don't think so. The more days that go by with complete and total silence and no news, the more I start to think like these guys are just not even close to getting the contract offer that they thought they were going to get. I mean, we are less than 3 weeks away from pitchers and catchers reporting, and then position players are the following week. Mm-hmm. So we are roughly a month away from what is essentially the start of the baseball season. Okay, and these guys are not on a team yet.
Which is crazy.
It's just unreal. I mean,
I don't know. When is the last time something like this has happened?
With two guys like
two superstars, not just two guys. Like these are. I mean, and granted, you know, I think Harper's probably more of a superstar than Manny, but still, these are two of the younger talents in the game that are looking for big deals, and they just can't get it. They can't get it anywhere. I can't remember a time where it's been like this.
It's shock and awe.
It is. It really is. It's crazy.
I mean, it is.
It's crazy.
I mean, now you have the Padres supposedly emerging as a mystery team.
They are sneaking in because they see an opening, and if that would be very good for the Padres. They could. I mean, his power numbers will probably go down a little bit, but he is a guy that could really help that team move forward. Like they're not going to be great in the next year or two, but maybe in about 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, they could be a very good team for a good amount of time.
Well, they could because
the contracts.
Hold on. Now, I will say this: if they were to sign Machado and make a trade for JT Realmuto, that infield, including catcher, where you would have Machado, Tatis Jr., Urias, Hosmer, and JT Realmuto.
Yes, if they get
that's an amazing infield.
Now they just got to work on their rotation, and then they're good to go. So like they're probably not ready. They might make the playoffs, but they're probably not ready for like a real playoff push this coming year. Even if they have that group, but they are 1 more year away from that because then they can just work on.
But with Machado, Urias, and Tatis, you would have a nice young core.
Oh God!
In that middle to from third over to second. I mean, holy cow!
Well, yeah, Hosmer at first too
Hosmer he's in his late 20s, I think, and Realmuto would be in his late 20s. I mean, I think Realmuto's 28, and I think Hosmer's 29 or. Oh, it's awesome.
That would be you have a 4 to 5 year window.
And defensively, a very, very sound infield too. I mean, you're gonna have a hard time getting balls out of that infield. I mean, it would be an interesting team if they could pull those two things off. But I think both of them are long shots because I mean, the Dodgers are also very heavily in on Realmuto, and I mean, the Padres have the prospects. There is a catcher.
They have the money too.
Yeah, they do. There is a catcher in their organization that I know the Marlins want. And if you're the Padres, just do it.
Do it.
I mean, why would you
go for it?
The catcher is unproven, and JT Realmuto is the best catcher in the game. It's a no-brainer, kind of, right? It's not like the guy's 34; he's 28.
He's a very good catcher. I mean, you never know what's going to happen because obviously we saw some drastic numbers decline when Stanton came from Miami. His numbers declined because people know that one guy isn't going to beat me.
Right,
they just know that.
They see pitches.
They can see more pitches. They don't have to be pitched around as much. Yeah. But if he gets in a lineup that has some protection, i.e. a Manny Machado and even a Hosmer, he's not bad by any shape on offense. They could have a pretty good lineup, and he could still see some pitches, and he's an exceptional catcher too. So it's just that would be a situation I would, if I was the Padres, I would definitely look for. If I was the Dodgers, I'd be scared because there is a team that probably has more prospects than we have.
Rivals.
So yeah, I mean, you need to do something. So I don't know. It'd be very interesting to see it will be very interesting to see how this plays out. But I think that with Manny Machado, Harper, and Realmuto, all those stuff that's been going on for it seems like months. It seems like forever that all these talks have been going on, and the teams keep changing, and like these mystery teams keep popping up, this is just a really weird offseason.
And all that you hear, and now you start to wonder, like, is Harper regretting not taking that 10-year, $300 million deal that the Nationals outwardly said to off?
Yeah, you have to be kind of. So if you decline an offer, you have to really look internally.
Sure that your market is.
You have to look internally and be like, no, it's not even that. It's just like I just don't want to play in Washington anymore. They would have to pay me an absorbent amount of money to play in Washington. I would rather play somewhere for $250 million for the right team than I would $300 million because he is a superstar. He transcends baseball. Like he is above baseball as far as marketability goes. So he's one of those guys that no matter where he plays, he's going to make a buttload of money off the field. He's got that kind of that marketability. So he's one of those guys that I just feel like it's Manny Machado's the other guy who doesn't have that reputation. He has he's kind of a jerk. So I think that it's going to be harder for him to recoup that money. Whereas Harper, I think he can recoup that money no matter and he'll be able to recoup that for years. Like he's just got that personality where when he retires, he might not do it, but he's going to be approached by the ESPNs and the Fox Sports and stuff like that to join the booths and all that kind of stuff because. Yep. He's got that personality. He's got the skill set. He's been a star forever, and he's kind of lived up to it. So
he's been a star since high school.
Yeah. So it's one of those things that it'll be very interesting to see how this plays out. But all right, now let's get into. I want to talk Hall of Fame. This is good for the Yankee fans and everything out there because one, we have obviously Mariano. Yes. Let me focus in on you here, and we'll just put that up there. He unanimously got into the Hall of Fame, which I had kind of mentioned something about that. I said, is he going to break the record for being the highest voted in player? And I thought he would because I thought it was going to be tough, but I thought he would because I just don't know anyone That's Boston fans. That's, Angels fans. That's, Texas fans. That's anybody out there. Mariners fans that, I didn't know anybody out there at all that didn't think that he deserved to be in the Hall of Fame. So I just thought, like, if there's ever a chance that there's going to be a guy to break the record, break Ken Griffey's record, Ken Griffey Jr., it'd be him. And Ken Griffey only had missed 5 votes. So I thought it would be a good one. But I want to get into first, before we talk about anything else, before we talk about Mo and all his awesomeness, because I do have a question for you about Mo. Mm-hmm. I want to ask you about Moose. Mike Mussina. Mm-hmm. What hat does he go in with?
Oh, that's already been decided. There's no logo. They decided that yesterday. No logo.
What?
Yep. He's going in like Greg Maddux. No logo on the hat.
That is garbage. Greg Maddux played for multiple teams.
Yeah. How does Greg Maddux not go into the Braves, though?
That's ridiculous.
I know Greg Maddux played for the Cubs, but come on. He made his mark as a Brave. He's a Hall of Famer because of his Braves career. Mike Mussina. So, if that decision had not already been made, I would have said go in as an Oriole, but
that's ridiculous.
But he's not. He's going in without a logo. And I think the reason why, too, is because he was asked about it right after he was inducted. Like, hey, what hat are you going to go on? And he's like, I don't have a preference. And that's very Mike Mussina. He's he's a passive and aggressive guy. And in this case, I think he was just very passive. He just was like, I just don't have a preference at all. And I think the Hall of Fame couldn't make the decision for him because he really had, it's very interesting. I mean, he had a 18-year career. He had 10 years with the Orioles, and he had 8 years with the Yankees. His 2 20-win seasons came with the Yankees. His 121 season came with the Yankees, and that was at the end of his career.
Yep.
He did win slightly more games with the Orioles than he did with the Yankees. Honestly, it was a toss-up. I can understand why this was a difficult decision for him. But the Hall of Fame, to me,
I feel like he solidified himself as a Hall of Famer as a Yankee because he pitched in so many big games, and he went up against other Hall of Famers and won. That's why I do think it is somewhat even because his career as a Yankee included postseason efforts, and that postseason effort alone in Game 7 of 2003 of the ALCS, which everybody kind of forgets about because everybody remembers Mariano. Yeah.
But his effort there to keep the Red Sox at bay and allow the Yankees to get back into that game, that is a huge moment for him as a pitcher and part of his Hall of Fame legacy. In Baltimore, he has no... he did pitch a postseason game in Baltimore, and a very good one, too. I think he struck out 15 guys or something. It was crazy. I think he had an incredible... So, look, there were arguments for both sides. I think it's bad on him and bad on the Hall of Fame because the Hall of Fame, I think, was going to defer to him, and he just said, I have no preference. And then I think the Hall of Fame was just like, well, he doesn't have a preference. This is hard for us to decide. Yeah. We'll just give him the no logo. Yeah. I don't know.
So, all right. So, I think he should go in as a Yankee, but that's probably because I'm a little biased. I would have said for him to go in as an Oriole, to be honest. Yeah. But I just think I'm a little biased, but I'm also at the point I'm like, I just remember so many great moments with him, and his Orioles team was never all that good. So no. I just think that if it makes it more impressive that how many games he won. But I just look at his career as a Yankee, and I'm like, you know what? That's why he won. That's why he got in.
Before we wrap on Moose, do you have a favorite Moose moment? I can tell you mine.
We both. It's the same thing. Where he told Joe Torre to stay in the dugout. He was like, get down, get back in the dugout. Yeah.
Stay there.
Yeah, because that's not passive at all.
That's aggressive.
Yeah, that's very aggressive. And Joe just right? Right? It's like that whole thing where that like in the cartoons and stuff where they're running in and they get stopped, told no, and sit down, and they just slowly go back.
Yeah, it's great.
All right, so yeah,
but it spoke to his intensity a little bit too.
Yeah. He's a very smart dude and a very intense
very cerebral
guy. All right. So Mo gets in unanimously, obviously. Yes. It's huge. That was a huge honor. I'm sure you saw the video like most of us did out there.
when I saw the announcement come across my screen, it popped up as, like a Bleacher Report pop-up or something. I was sitting on the couch with the kids, and I just threw my hand in the air and screamed, yes!
Yeah.
Because I wanted this for Mo so bad. Because if you think about the people in the Hall of Fame. Ruth, Mantle, DiMaggio, Ted Williams, Ty Cobb, Christy Mathewson, Sandy Koufax, Ken Griffey Jr., all of these unbelievable, immortal icons, and none of them were unanimous. None of them. Babe Ruth is like the... When you hear Babe Ruth, you know who Babe Ruth is.
Yeah.
You don't even have to be a baseball fan to know. And he's not unanimous. And Babe Ruth was like a two-way player too. He wasn't just this great home run hitter.
He was great.
He was an unbelievable pitcher.
He's the George Washington.
Even he could get in unanimously. And along comes this guy, this unheralded, undrafted guy from Panama who had this, very difficult upbringing, and he turned himself into the greatest closer we have ever seen.
And it's not only that. Like, there's been a lot of controversy about closers in general and relievers in general getting into the Hall of Fame. But that's the guy. This is the guy, the closer, a reliever who gets 100%. That just shows how good he was. Like, there is controversy about that.
This to me is a testament of just how good of a guy this is. Because if you look at his entire career, think about how many years this guy pitched. This guy was in the league for a long time.
Yeah.
And can you even think of one even remotely controversial Mariano Rivera moment in his entire career? No. I cannot think of one.
No.
Not one.
Well, he's always known as being like such a good guy. And like he
always was in the league for like almost 20 years. And there's not like one moment. I mean, even Jeter, with his clean record, there's still some kind of like stories out there about him, like how he sleeps with women and gives them gift baskets on the way out.
Yeah.
There's nothing about Mariano Rivera. Nothing. Absolute nothing. By the way, Derek Jeter is coming up for nomination next year. He will not be unanimous, by the way.
He'll be pretty close, though.
He'll be close, but somebody will hold the fact that he never won an MVP against him. That will be held against him. Which is dumb, because he probably should have won two.
And Mariano never won on either. So
no, and Mariano never won a Cy Young, but relievers very rarely get Cy. It's a very rarity.
Exactly.
So
I think it'll be close.
But you know what? You know how you hear the expression, and it's almost always used in a very derogatory manner, is it couldn't have happened to a better guy.
Yeah.
Because that's usually a derogatory. In this, it's very literal.
Yeah.
This honor of being the first unanimous Hall of Famer could not have happened to a better guy. Just
imagine if someone like Curt Schilling acted the way that Mariano Rivera did.
He'd already be in.
He'd be in.
He'd
be in years ago.
And I believe Curt Schilling is a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
I truly do.
Yeah, I believe that he's... I think that he's just barely a Hall of Famer. But I think that his attitude and how he treats people off the field is the reason why he's not in. And I'm okay with that too.
And he may never get in. I mean, I don't know. He got closer,
but
then the percentages started to drop. But it was. I will tell you though, like keeping track of this over the weeks as it built up to announcement day was fun because they had that baseball HOFtracker.com. There's that guy who keeps track of all the public records.
Yeah,
and that was actually fun to watch. And you keep seeing 52% of the ballots are known. And Mariano is still sitting at 100. Could it happen?
Yeah.
And it was kind of funny because I was watching MLB Network a lot leading up to it. And, Ken Rosenthal was like, yeah, no, somebody's going to vote no.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to happen. He's not going to get in unanimously. And it does. And you're like, he was the perfect guy. He was the perfect guy for that to happen to.
So the question I want to ask you about, Mo, is something you mentioned, Ruth, people like that, Mantle and all that.
I know where you're going.
Does he finally get a statue in Monument Park?
Oh, does he get
an actual statue?
A statue?
Yes, not just a butt. Like an actual statue in there.
We know he's getting his plaque.
Right? Oh yeah, the plaque is that. I am talking a stat. He is unanimous. He is the greatest reliever of all time.
I'll tell you what. There is a case for him to have a statue outside of the stadium.
Yeah.
I don't think they would ever do that because the way that Yankee Stadium was reconstructed, it was reconstructed to look like the Yankee Stadium of the 20s, the cathedral of the 20s. And I don't know that they would want to mess with the integrity of that by putting a statue outside. Because because now when you walk up to Yankee Stadium, it looks exactly the same as it did when you walked up in the 1920s, which is beautiful. I mean, as fans, I think we all love it. And then, of course, you go inside and it's just a big shopping mall. I don't know. I really don't. I don't know that you...
If there was ever a guy...
I mean, yeah, I suppose if there was ever a guy, this would be the guy. I just think, though, that, like, if you erect a statue for him, I mean, how do you not do one for Jeter, too? And then...
You could make a case for Jeter, but I think if you...
It starts to, like, get weird, though, because then you're like, wait a minute, Ruth, Mantle, DiMaggio, Gehrig don't have statues? We're going to give one to Mariano? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'd be okay with it. Who wouldn't?
Yeah, I when you go down as the GOAT,
he is absolutely. I mean, the one thing that he has that no one can take from him is not only is he the greatest to ever do what he did, but he is by far the gap between him and whoever number 2 is. Maybe it's Trevor Hoffman. I don't know, but the gap between him and number 2 is astounding. And the thing about whoever number 2 is actually open for debate. Like, you could argue about who you think the second greatest closer of all time is. It's like Jerry Rice in the NFL. The gap between him as the top receiver and the number 2 is astounding. And then even when that number 2 argument comes in, you don't even know who it is. So, I don't know. There is a case, I suppose. I would love to see a statue of him, like, in the bullpen, where like, he's like the statue is like him running towards the bullpen, like opening up the door. That would kind of be cool, wouldn't it? Like head down with the glove in his right hand, trotting out.
I just want to see something to honor him. Like,
my God,
they had to do something.
He's going to get a huge honor this year. Huge. I mean, they're going to do something big for him at the stadium.
Yeah. I need something.
There's going to be a Mariano Rivera Hall of Fame day, and it's going to be nuts.
Yeah. It'll be very interesting to see how all that happens, and I can't wait to see it. I can't see what they do to get him in the mix of, like, the greatest of all time that are in that Monument Park and everything like that. Like, what they do.
Yeah, there'll be something.
They got to do something more than just a plaque sitting up against, sitting up next to somebody like, Yogi Berra. Like, Yogi Berra was great and all, but they need to do something bigger than that.
Yeah. So this will be like, and actually this is kind of funny. Like, so this was the cover of the Post. This was one cover and then, Perfect Fame. Mm-hmm. But they actually kind of wrote out the plaque. And it says, Mariano, Mo the Sandman, New York, AL, 1995 to 2013. It says, the finest closer in history. His 652 saves stand as the all-time record. Recorded 0.70 ERA with another 42 saves in 96 postseason games. Won 5 championships with the Yankees, recording the last out 4 times. And he earned MVP honors in the 1999 World Series and 2003 ALCS. Uh-huh. Selected an All-Star 13 times. He will also be remembered as the last player to wear Jackie Robinson's number 42, a privilege he treated with reverence and dignity. Became the first unanimous selection into Cooperstown. Perfect. Beautiful.
Yes, tip. If I had a cap on, I would tip it. That's tremendous. All right, so we are on our way out. Did you wanted to talk something real quick?
Very quickly.
So Le'Veon Bell apparently wants to make his home in sunny Miami.
Yeah. No, thank you.
What's your beef? What's your beef with
LeBell? Well, first of all, the Dolphins are starting from scratch. Okay, they are blowing this up. They've said so. They have without actually saying the word rebuild. They've already identified this as a complete and total rebuild. They are tearing it down. They're starting over. They fired their coach. They promoted the right guy in Chris Greer, who I like very much. Chris Greer is going to do this the right way. I trust him. In Greer, I trust. He's a smart guy. And he's a guy that deserved this job. He's been there in the background for the Dolphins for many years. He's actually responsible for a lot of their good draft picks. But he's not going to bring a guy like Le'Veon Bell into the mix. First of all, Le'Veon Bell is going to cost a fortune. And on top of that, you know that even when you pay him, just because you pay him doesn't mean he's going to be happy. He'll still be a cancer. There is no place on this team for him. They have Kenyon Drake. They have Kalen Ballage. They might bring Frank Gore back for another year. Who the heck knows? Frank Gore loved being there, so that's his home. There's just not a place for Le'Veon Bell. And to me, it's that combination of money and what he could do to a clubhouse that's trying to establish an identity for itself, that's trying to rebuild. And you're going to be bringing in, you have to remember, there's a good chance that the Dolphins draft a guy like Kyler Murray this year. Kyler Murray may fall to them at 13 because, in fact, he's projected to go later than that. So, and if the Dolphins like him, though, and early word is that they do, they may take a chance on him. Do you really want to pair him with this guy who, although is great and is still in his prime, is very, very much, he's a vocal guy, and he might drown out a young quarterback in that locker room. I have so many concerns about Le'Veon Bell. Is he a supreme talent? Yes. But he should go to a team that is far more ready, that is much closer to ready to win, where his impact in the locker room won't be as great because there are already strong personalities in said locker room. Okay. In the Dolphins locker room, there are not, and I just think he's a bad fit there.
Okay. All right. Well, that's it for Shane and the Bry Man here on Sports and Sorts. You can find us on Twitter at anywhere, Shane and Bryman, at Facebook, facebook.com/Shane and the Bryman, www.sportsandsorts.libsyn.com, anywhere podcasts are played, and you can find me on Twitter at Einhorn-Finkel.
You can find me on Twitter at _Bry_man. Do not forget to catch the Royal Rumble tomorrow on the WWE Network. It should be a great event. The men's Royal Rumble, the women's Royal Rumble, and all I can say is I'm rooting for the man. And if you're a wrestling fan, you know who the man is.
Hogan?
No, the man.
Who's the man?
The man is a woman, Becky Lynch.
Oh,
the man. I hope she's got a title match tomorrow night against Asuka. I hope she wins.
I'm not a wrestling fan. Like I used to be, and then now I just kind of follow it through you. Like occasionally I'll watch like a one of the pay-per-views or something like that.
It should be good. It should be a good event. I love the Royal Rumble because it is the event that sets up the road to WrestleMania because, the women's Royal Rumble winner gets a title match at WrestleMania, as does the men's winner. There are also some good matches on the card. Like I said, Becky Lynch against Asuka is a great match. So it should be a pretty.
Where's Roddy? Yeah,
no, actually there was a little. She is the champion. She is defending tomorrow against Sasha Banks. There is news starting to leak out that she's actually leaving, that she wants to start a family, and that she's walking away from her multi-year deal. Then there are some other rumors that kind of backtracked that and said, "Well, hold on." She does want to start a family, but she's not leaving. She will be back after, she has a kid and all that stuff. So it is very possible that she loses tomorrow, but I do think that she's scheduled. I think it's more likely she wins tomorrow and she defends her title at WrestleMania, hopefully against the man. So we'll see.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you guys for watching, listening, however you took this in. We'll see you again on Monday. Talking a little bit more sports and other sorts of things. I've been catching up on some movies. I watched. I told you I watched Ant-Man and Wasp recently. That was okay. We obviously talked about Han Solo recently too. How I watched that. That was pretty entertaining. So I'm planning on catching up on a couple more. I've been so bad about watching movies lately. It's just been brutal. We actually did a little Netflix and binging with my wife on Grace and Frankie, or Frankie and Grace, however it's called on Netflix. It's a good show.
Yeah.
It's a good show.
I've just been catching up on a ton of shows that are just.
I've just been
watching the Orville. I love the Orville. God, that show is so great.
I haven't watched an episode yet this year. I have like 4, I think, to catch up on.
3 or 4.
Three or four, yeah.
It's such a great show, dude. It really is. It's just so well done. I hope Seth doesn't walk away from that.
Yeah.
I hope Fox doesn't walk away from him, because Fox they'll be the bad guys.
Yeah.
It won't be him.
And on that note, did you hear my cat again? She was screaming again.
No,
I'm gonna go downstairs and feed her.
Yeah,
this is annoying. That meow is just so annoying. It's like nails on a chalkboard to me. Yeah. All right,
stay classy, political.
Peace out. See you guys on Monday.
See you Monday.